Over 615,000 people in Dublin, Kildare and Meath are still boiling their water before they use it this morning. They've had to do that since Monday night, just 10 days after a previous boil water notice had been lifted. The problem this time, we're told, is that the heavy rain of recent days has overwhelmed the water treatment plant in Leixlip, and it can't work properly to ensure that our water is safe. An audit of the water in Leixlip will be carried out today. The Environmental Protection Agency and the HSE inspectors will be there. The Managing Director of Irish Water will join us live on the programme after 8. But now we're joined by Professor Fiona Regan, who is Director of the DCU Water Institute. Professor Regan, you're very welcome and thank you for coming in to us. This audit today in Leixlip, what will they be looking for?
So this is a little different to the first occasion. This current boil water notice is linked to rainfall according to the Irish Water information, and so they'll be looking for what the quality of the water is coming into the plant from the source, the River Liffey source, and they'll be looking at issues in relation to treatment of that at the old site. The old site, which is referred to as the problem in this case and has been the problem in the previous case, in fact. So they'll be looking at issues around the cloudiness of the water because it is elevated because of extensive rainfall events we've been having. And they look at, I suppose, why the plant can't deal with that and the problems that that is causing.
And what will Irish Water have been doing over recent days to try and make sure that the treatment plant is working properly to filter the water?
So because of the risk in relation to bacterial contamination from the water, we know that Irish Water have put out a boil water notice, and they would do that, if there's any level of risk. And so while that boil water notice is happening, they would be looking at particularly the filtration process that the plant has. And this, we have learned that the filtration process of the older plant is a problem in that it's not removing the solids that essentially need to be removed from the water so that it can continue the treatment process. And it's quite a detailed treatment process that the water has to go through. So they would be looking at that filtration system and any of the mechanics of that older plant in particular that could, be improved.
And if they fix that, and presumably they hope to fix that, there is an old plant, there is a new plant. So as you say, this is all going on at the old plant. But if they fix that filtration system sufficiently, will that suffice then for the rest of the rainy season? And we get a lot of rain here.
Yeah, no, I think that the problem here, and again, we know about this, that refurbishment is going on to repair and to refurb that old part of the plant. And so that work will be continuing. So it would be my understanding, and we won't know until the audit is finished, that there still will be issues around the source water and heavy rainfall at that particular plant.
Right.
But so the audit will tell us more.
So the potential for future boiled water notices until the plant is fully upgraded is pretty high, would you say? I
would think that, yes, there is potential for further boiled water notices, though until we get the information and indeed the data, from the sample quality results, until we get that information, it's difficult to say.
It is. What is wrong with Leixlip? I mean, in the sense that the Ballymore Eustace treatment plant in Kildare, that doesn't seem to have a problem. Now, I know it was upgraded, it was completed last year, but does it have an extra line of defence against the rainwater and all that the rainwater brings in?
Absolutely, that's a really great question. I mean, we take the water for Leixlip from the River Liffey directly. And so, that's fantastic resource there, surface water resource. But Ballymore Eustace has an additional buffer, as it were. It has a lake. So the water coming from the source for the treatment process comes into a lake, and it has allowed a period of time there to settle out this cloudiness that we're dealing with here. So if there is an additional turbidity or that cloudiness, it gets a chance to settle and then move into the treatment process.
Is there not sufficient capacity, though, in the rest of the system to negate the need for a boiled water notice? I know that they're upping the output from Ballymore Eustace, but is there not a way that they could up the output from the new part of the Leixlip water treatment plant so that we don't have to boil our water?
So a treatment plant has a particular capacity, and so in order to meet the requirements of this over 600,000 people, we need the entire capacity that is within Leixlip. However, I pose the question, Leixlip, the older part, deals with 20% of the overall output. And we have had to deal with restrictions in the past. And so if the other part of the plant could deal with 80%, I think people would not mind, reducing their shower time, as Irish Water put it during the week, slightly, in order to be able to use the water without boiling. We saw last night on Prime Time some examples of a creche where there's a significant amount of effort added to boiling water, things we don't think of, where children are involved. So I'm just, I suppose, posing that question: could we use the existing working newer facility at a reduced capacity with some restrictions?
But we're not good at that, are we? Or are we? Perhaps I'm being unfair, but we're not really that great at conserving water and reducing our usage of it because we've never had to.
I think people are actually improving. I think we're all doing our best. I think if there was an incentive to do that, in terms of not having to boil, for example, we certainly would take lesser showers. And some dermatologists say it's better not to have a shower above 10 minutes. And, if you have teenagers in the house, I know 20-minute showers are fairly normal. But that 5-minute showers would be easy enough for us to deal with. And we're very adaptable. And, stop running our water down our sink when we're brushing our teeth. These kind of things people can do if they know why.
Yeah. Just a final question. The old part of the Leixlip plant, as we said, is being upgraded. But is Leixlip unique, or is it the norm? How fit for purpose is the rest of the water treatment system around the country?
We have a significant problem in terms of water infrastructure around the country. The infrastructure is in some cases between 100, 150 years old, and it really needs significant investment. And the Dublin boil notice isn't the only boil notice at the moment, and in some places they've had boil notices for over 2 years. So yes, there is a significant problem, and there have been really important improvements as well, and there are a series of improvements happening. Irish Water have shown that. But to be honest, there needs to be a significant investment, and Engineers Ireland have shown that that level of investment is in the region of €8 billion. So, unless that happens, I don't think we're going to see improvement, and the improvement is going to be slow.
Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us this morning, Professor Fiona Regan, who is Director of the Water Institute at Dublin City.